Hello, welcome to day 16 of the 30-day soul adventure. Soul navigation adventure. This is Allie. I'm sure my mom's not going to be happy with this video because she's sad when I don't wear makeup in these videos. And I am back in Portland. And this is, if you're just joining us, this is day 16 of the 30-day soul navigation adventure. Hey Roxanne, where I share with you in real time a 30-day process to create huge momentum, make big decisions, and have like an incredible outcome in your life. Hey Allie. So I knew that I had a 30-day window of deciding where in the world I wanted to be after this sublet, and I also knew it was the year anniversary of the Soul Navigation Map program, which is all about directing yourself from your true inner compass and directing from those 4 important key connections in life. Hey Mara, the relationship to yourself, your community, your mission, and spirit. And what I realized yesterday after we did Satanama was like interesting to me is self, so birth, life, which is community, death, which is rebirth, and we talked all about what you have to let go of yesterday as we started mission, and then death and then rebirth, and then that's like spirit, which we'll talk about next week. Oh, thank you. Hey Debbie. Hi. Hey Nicole. So I am, as I said, I'm showing you in real time, and we've all been doing together what it looks like to be in a 30-day process, and I wanted to show it in full transparency, and I didn't know all the things that would happen. I just knew I was making a really big decision at the end of the 30 days. And as you know, if you've been following this, like I had a huge transition in my relationship community space over the weekend. And hey, Angela, hey, Julie, hi. Angela's amazing. Angela, who's on here, Angela Guzman, if you're in the LA area, you got to go to her Soul Cycle class. That's actually the first thing. Hey, Erin, that's one of the first things I did when this huge transition happened, and it was so powerful, and you're sweating and you're biking and you're crying and there's candles everywhere. And Angela also does this thing. What do you call that? The what oracle, Angela? Hey, Andrew. The radio oracle. She has this thing where it just goes to, what is that called, Angela? What do you call it? Hey, Lewis, the something oracle. Hi. It's basically like you ask a question and it just goes to a random song in her database of songs in her car, and it like completely describes what's happening in your life. The iPod oracle. If you get to know Angela, you got to go to her Soul Cycle class, but you need to get a ride with her, because then on the way back, she's going to do the iPod oracle for you, and it's going to blow your mind. So, so here we are, and yesterday was really about birth, life, death, rebirth. What have you got to lose? And what do you have to lose? What are you going to lose by living your life and being your mission? And what do you have to be willing to lose and let go of to live your mission? What do you have to be willing to receive? What do you have to be willing, hi Andrew, to gain? So we had that really powerful call together yesterday, and right before that call, hey Debbie, I still want to talk to you. Right before that, our group video together, I had this really powerful session with someone, and as soon as I started working with them, I immediately started, post that image. I don't even know what it is because I can't see it right now, but I'm sure it's awesome. I had this session where I was immediately like energetically vomiting for this person, and what was really coming through was there was things that their body used to be willing to carry or transmit or deal with, or just it was like, this is the way it is. These are the options available in order for me to receive other things. And now they had hit this level where it's like, nope, not willing to have that. I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm really using them a lot too. If anyone has any questions about the Soul Navigation MP3s, let us know. But yeah, they really help me too. So this person and I were doing this session where it was like, all these things her body had been willing to deal with, her soul had been willing to kind of work through. And we talk about this a lot, that in relationships and in life and in career, that sometimes we're willing to deal with BS to get the other things we want. And that's why it was so hard for me to transition out of the connection I was in in this big community transition, because I was getting so much positivity and there's so much love there still. And I'm not used to having to transition out of something unless it's like a total shit show and it's so not serving me. But the truth is as you keep refining and going higher and higher and higher up in your vibration, you start creating really amazing connections, and you start creating really amazing relationships and really amazing opportunities. And these are still sometimes going to be connections and opportunities that are only getting you to a certain level before it's time for you both to separate. Hi, Nancy. And you have to start realizing, like, you're not living a life anymore where everything's going to be so intense and so dramatic and so much suffering that it's so obvious. Like, it's going to start being that you just have to realize that you don't tolerate anything that's really not in alignment with your mission anymore. So in this session, it was like her body just couldn't, she couldn't tolerate anything that wasn't in total integrity or alignment anymore, because she had just done the work to trust that she gets to have things completely work out and support her. And then we had this beautiful, video together that I think was really powerful and did a lot of purging. And then I took the flight back last night from LA, and I got here late last night. And then I woke up today and I'm not feeling very good. As you can see, I'm in my sicky outfit. And I want to bring up again that when there's because a lot of you may have let go of something big, or you may have acknowledged something you're going to have to release or let go of or lose, or whatever word you want to use. We talked about that yesterday, right? You may also experience what I'm experiencing right now. And I'll bring you back to last week. We talked about the 3 areas that can shift when you're going through a major frequency upgrade. So it's your physical experience. So physically, you might have a lot going on. Good or bad, but you might be very sensitive physically. So today, I have a sore throat, my body is really tired and achy, and I don't think I'm actually sick, but it's when you don't feel well, or even when you have your period and you just feel so much processing in your body and there's nothing you can do but just let it happen. That's where I am today. You may also feel emotional changes, so you may feel some fear, some anxiety, different feelings and old thoughts and stories resurfacing, or you may be feeling really clean and clear and free. And I've been feeling a mix of both. And then relationship resonance. So there's relationships to other people, to behaviors, to ways of being. We did a lot of really deep work on shifting your frequency over the weekend into yesterday. And so you may be noticing that some patterns that were kind of dormant become really dramatic. That's something that happened for me over this shift over the weekend. And also that, there's just people who step in, some of the angels and allies that have stepped in for me in the last few days are not the people I would have expected. They're not people I ever knew before this. And then there's people who normally, and behaviors and people and things I would have normally turned to in this sort of transition that aren't right anymore. So there's a major purge going. And the real theme here is we all just want the real deal. We all really stepped into the acknowledgement yesterday that it's quality, not quantity, and that you don't need that much, hey, Andrea, to have the biggest transformations of your life. You need to have yourself and your love and trust of yourself. And you need to acknowledge your mastery. When I tuned into that question today of why would we be afraid to be powerful, the answer that came back was because we're not sure if it's really in us. What if we're wrong? So there has to be a trust of I know this is in me. I know I have these desires because I'm meant to do this. Lewis is saying, I can relate with the physical stuff. I've noticed I've been sleeping but not getting enough rest. Feels as my energy has gotten so intense that even if I'm tired, I don't sleep much. Yeah, so you also might need to be doing more different types of physical things to help cycle out that energy. And you may need to be eating or resting or, I'm probably going to need to behave. This is there's a hummingbird right outside. There's a whole nother way of being that I might need now. So sort of with my client where it was I can't take in this sort of behavior, these ways of beings, or other people acting in these ways. I used to be able to transmute it and understand it and clear it and release it. And it's it's as if I'm eating, what it felt like is as if she was eating plastic. Like, we wouldn't give someone a plastic apple and say that's an apple. That's kind of where we're at right now in this process, is we're not willing to eat plastic apples anymore. And that's part of when you really step into your mission, is you're not willing to do your mission halfway. You're not willing to let it be kind of tucked away in the side. You're not willing to only feel it in little pockets. You want to feel it all the time. You want to be experiencing living your mission all the time, and you want to be connected with people and experiences that really feel like the real deal all the time. So when I checked in, and I'm going to share these beautiful quotes Bella just shared. When I checked in with the energy today about, okay, what is it we're working on? I know I'm going through a big purge, and I know that was the energy yesterday of letting go. And now I want to just share with you in real time, like, this is what it could look like. Like, I'm not feeling well. My throat hurts. I'm tired. I'm achy. But how much did I let go of with all of you when we did that chant, when we did that video, and when I really acknowledged to hundreds of people, like, this is what I was afraid to let go of, and I let go of it, and I bless it with love, and I'm stepping into what's next. And I've let all these people I didn't even really know before step in and be part of this with me. Like, clearly I did a huge purging, as did many of you. So this is what it can sometimes look like the next day. And we just want the real deal. And so there's a message here. What I saw for our group message today was just to completely surrender and watch what happens. The way the message yesterday was to completely stay in your tub and see what shows up. Don't leave your hot tub. Don't leave your heart. Don't leave your mission. Even if you want to jump out and chase after things and hold on to things, you have to stay in there and see what shows up and see what's really a match when you don't have to get out of your mission. Today, the message is completely surrender and watch what happens. And you may actually be watching your whole life dismantle. Like, you may be watching everything disintegrate. Where right now for me, like, I have to just feel at home in my heart. I have some ideas of what I'm going to be doing after this sublet, but places that felt like they could be my home aren't. Places that I didn't even know before are now feeling like my home. Everything's sort of swirling, and everything is dismantling. Once I let go, a lot of things in my life and in my body are dismantling right now, and I have to just surrender and watch. That's why I'm being given a physical experience where I'm so tired and achy. I can't do anything right now but just watch everything dismantle. And I can feel safe. This is just completely watch the dismantling, surrender into what you just let go, let yourself purge, realize that you're getting rid of all the plastic fruit, because you're not willing to eat plastic apples and bananas anymore. You want real ones. And you will now watch, and this was the message I got, you will now watch everything rebuild around you. You've dismantled what's not true. You've dismantled what's not in alignment with your mission. You've dismantled that which you had to chase around. Christina, we're on together today. And now you're going to watch it all rebuild. And the same client I had that experience with, literally, I wrote this down for all of us, and the same person emailed me to say, listen, I just want to let you know, I've actually been physically purging since our session, and now I'm really craving protein. So it feels as if I totally am purging and releasing all the things that were not in alignment, and now I'm wanting to rebuild. Like, my body is asking for the nutrition to rebuild at a higher frequency. And it was so crazy because I had just written down, like, let everything dismantle and watch it rebuild. So that's kind of where we are today. And I want to just share one more way of looking at this if you haven't been feeling great physically or emotionally today, or if that starts to come up for you. And then I'm going to look into the comments. And if there's anything you want to look at in particular today or focus on in particular today, let me know. And then I'm just going to go into the energy and see what's there. Because as I said, I'm kind of at a lower speed. I'm going to probably sleep after this, and then I'm probably going to feel better. I'm going to keep drinking water. I love that, Andrea. I'm going to come to your comments in a second. There's one more understanding I want us to have before we go any farther. So what is happening for my client who was actually vomiting, and what's happening for me right now, is that we're in alarm phase. And I want to explain that there's 3 different phases in health and in frequency. So there is the first phase when things are healthy and you're not accepting like bullshit anymore, and your body's not, you'll go into a phase called alarm phase. What that means is people think a lack of symptoms is health, and having symptoms is unhealthy, but a lot of times it can be reversed. So when you're healthy and your body is expecting high level, like we're having high expectations from the people around us and from our experience of our work and our experience of our spirituality and our experience in our body, then when things are out of alignment, we're going to feel it. We're going to feel that our body's in alarm phase. It's not accepting bullshit anymore. When you've suppressed alarm phase over and over and over, when your body's given you alarm phase and you haven't changed it, like when you've gotten the alarm phase around a relationship or a career or a way of being, and you just like, you've gotten the discomfort, but you never end up changing anything, what happens is your body and spirit will go into adaptation phase, where it's like, all right, shit's not changing. This soul still wants to survive. So we're just going to start adapting to the bullshit. Hey, this shit really works. I can't stop swearing because this is kind of how I often talk. And I thought you weren't allowed to swear on Facebook Live, but it looks like that's okay. So yeah, I think that's our mantra. Remember, we were having some mantras. I think the mantra now is this shit really works. So you've got alarm phase, you've got adaptation phase. And then, it's like you're trying to adapt, but you're not that comfortable, but it's not like, oh my God, this is so crazy, I can't handle it. That's adaptation phase. Then you go to the third phase, which is exhaustion. And that's when real crisis ends up coming up for people. So exhaustion phase is the personality won't listen to the spirit. The personality is ignoring the soul. The personality is ignoring the mission. So a lot of you may be in exhaustion phase with the topic of mission. So you're just allowing yourself to be okay with the lifestyle or the job or however things have been because you had an alarm phase, you went to adaptation phase, and now you're in exhaustion phase where you don't even, everything becomes so subtle and you're like almost numb to everything. So I wanted to point out those three things because that's something to look at as we move through this. So the fact that my client felt sick and then craved the protein, that's like awesome. That's like she's in alarm phase where she's not accepting bullshit anymore. And the fact that I feel like this today, and there's a part of me too that's like, just feeling guilt, like what did I not give to that other person, and like a little scared, like where can I feel at home, like all that type of stuff's coming up for me. That's alarm phase. This is good news. The fact that I feel this way is like good freaking news based on what we've been doing the last few days. So I want you to be aware of that as we move through the week. So just to give you a recap, yeah, you're so exhausted. So choose to be in alarm phase instead of exhaustion phase. Because again, exhaustion phase often looks like not being exhausted. It looks like drinking 4 coffees a day, probably, but it looks like you're not exhausted. You're just kind of like rolling with it. When you're in exhaustion, when you're feeling exhausted, that's usually that you're in alarm phase. Or you might be moving into adaptation phase. So before we go into the energy and look at the comments, I just want to do a recap of we did a huge purge. And then after you do a huge purge, you start to move frequencies. And then that can look like changes physically, emotionally, or in your relationships. And then that also looks like moving from exhaustion phase where you're not even paying attention to things not feeling right, to adaptation phase where you're trying to like be okay with things not being right, to alarm phase where you're like, no, I feel this and this is not right and I'm not willing to accept anything else. And so anything that's not in alignment in my body, mind, soul, emotions is lifting up and out. So it's a good thing to be in alarm phase right now because of how much clearing we just did. And it doesn't mean you have to feel sick. I'm just saying if you do, like, I know I'm not actually sick. That's my point. But like, I feel like I have I'm like, oh, look at me. I'm like all like on this Facebook Live right now. So, I'm just saying I'm in alarm phase. And you just completely surrender and watch what happens right now. Don't chase after anything. I couldn't chase after anything today if I tried. Like, I have a group call later tonight with my soul innovators, and like I'll be fine for that because that's part of my mission. But I can't chase after anything right now. All I can do, thank you. All I can do is just completely surrender and watch as everything is dismantled in my body, emotions, and mind. And I'm going to watch as everything is rebuilt. And I'm going to take care of myself, taking good supplements, drinking water, and resting. So that's a little recap, and I'm going to look at any comments we have here, and anything you want to work on today, let me know. And then we'll go into whatever the energy is. So Lewis already said he's relating with like sleeping but not getting enough rest. And so you may also, Lewis, I just want to add this if someone else can relate to this. I'm glad people are regenerating. You may need to set up your sleep a little differently. So maybe you used to have your smartphone by your bed, or you used to look at computers or TV right before bed, or you may now, Lewis, be in the space where you need to start meditating or doing yoga or doing qigong or doing satanama. You may need something else to unwire your nervous system before you go to sleep. So again, part of what we talked about in the first week was forget what you used to know. Like forget, like I was shocked by how I just went into action and knew exactly how to take care of myself through this transition. And I'm so used to it being a long traumatic thing and having to rehash certain things with people. I'm shocked by like who are the right people for me to be connecting with right now. What are the right things for me to be doing? And it's like, forget what I knew before. Forget who I was before during a transition. This is who I am now. So forget who you were before, Lewis, when you went to sleep. This is who you are now. And then I want to share Bella's quote. And I think she's talking about that message I got where we have that fear of like, what if we're not that powerful? And so Bella shared this quote. Our deepest fear is not, and this is from Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Let yourself take that in. It's your light. Yeah. And Bella, I really appreciate that because I think some of us might be moving through as we let ourselves get bigger and need more and expand more. Like, are we too much for people? Are we going to be too much for the world? Is our mission too big? Is who we have to become too big? Is that why we would lose things? I'll just tell you since it resonates to me and anyone, but like part of what I'm feeling fearful about is I thought maybe I was too much in this, maybe I was for some of this relationship transition. Like part of what was amazingly healing for me is to have my power and intensity not be too much, but maybe it was, like I'm working through that. So I really appreciate that quote. Debbie, I've been feeling this something in me, but I can't see it clearly. I'm not sure what my mastery is, and I really want to find it, especially regarding work. So I'm just going to feel into that because I'm sure there's other people who relate to that, Debbie. And Debbie, it's no doubt, there's no doubt, Debbie, I want to start calling you that. There's no doubt that we just heard that quote from Bella, and now I'm looking at your quote, because what I'm really sensing is that you would need to take more of a spotlight and more of a center stage than you currently do in your work. And I know you the way, based on how we know each other, I know how amazing you are to be behind the scenes and seamlessly supporting and uplifting people. But actually the sense I'm getting is that you would be, who are you not to shine brighter? Your mastery is going to require, from what I'm seeing, your mastery is going to require more coming to the front of the house. And so let's just feel into that energy for you, Debbie, and everyone who's on the call. And as I say that, and as you picture the people that you've allowed to be on the front, in the front row in your life, the people who you said, these are the people who are in front and I'll be in the back, whoever else relates to this. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I mean, one part of your mastery, Debbie, is the way in which you hold a foundation for people is incredible. But I want you to just feel like I'm feeling a lot of fear in my right hand. Like I'm trembling and it's scary and like, and this is going to be a big deal if I really let myself move to the front. So anyone who can relate to this with Debbie, that part of your mission is going to require you to say, who am I not to be bright and gorgeous and in the front and getting attention? Who am I not to be shining my light? I want you to just take some breaths here, and I want you to picture the people again that you say, these are the type of people who get to be front and center. And I want you to picture breathing in that image of you walking next to them and then actually walking in front of them. Breathing that in. Bringing that right into your heart, right where your mission is. You need that frequency. And just feel that fear, that trembling moving out of you. Continuing to breathe that image into your heart. And give it back to the ancestor who started this story that it's scary or not safe to be front and center. Just feel yourself giving that story back, because that didn't start with you. And there was different times in life where that was a truth, but it's not the truth now. So just feel yourself giving that back. Everyone who resonates with this process, feel yourself giving it back to that ancestor. And just notice who you really are. And now just check in. Is part of who I really am someone who needs to be up front, sharing something and shining a little bit? And now just notice all of the people you put in the box of they need to be up front. I'm more in the support. Notice that they're all applauding, acknowledging you as an equal, proud and excited to see you flourish and shine and open your heart and share your big gifts with the world. And now just let yourself relax into that. This is part of that dismantling to rebuild. You may be getting a really strong idea of what you're going to do next, or it might just be that you're dismantling and now you're going to watch yourself rebuild and see what you're called towards doing. And just stay with your heart in this. You might even put a hand on your heart. Beautiful. And you can let me know in the comments how that's feeling. But thank you. And yeah, I hope Debbie, thank you for that inspiration. And I really just, like I felt that for you, but it was also a process for everyone. Like, thank you for being the spokesperson of that, because there's a lot of people whose mastery means more people want to see you and share with you and be with you and come to you as the master. Gemma says, I did the full 11-minute chant last night. Tears. Yeah, the Satanama is the stuff. I'm really glad you did that. I'm doing that every day, and I would recommend doing it every day. Christina's favorite word is dismantling. Andrew, there have been places I've been to which I just felt like home the moment I arrived there. Yeah. And Andrew, like, what's interesting about that is I feel that too. And then it's like, for example, that's how I felt in Portland, and I'm not feeling it so much now. Like, not that I'm unhappy here, but it doesn't feel like the home, so it's interesting how things can change. And then it's like LA feels more like home, but it's also, I'm going to have to be so in my power, and I'm not totally at home in that much power yet. But that's interesting. That's something to really meditate on, is what Andrew just posted. Like, where do you feel like home? And where do you no longer feel like home? And, like, where would you like to feel at home? Those are all good questions. Andrea, I'm surrendering into my feelings, and I keep rejecting jobs that haven't felt right. Beautiful. And when someone is looking at jobs, that's a really good way to look at it, is the right job wants me, and I'm going to... like, it's going to feel so good when I'm in alignment, and I'm going to let it come to me. I get the intense food cravings are my cells asking for building materials they need to recreate themselves at a higher vibration. Yeah, so it would be interesting to see, like, what are you craving today? What sort of foods? And you could post here if you want to share, like, what you're drawn to, or post it in the Facebook group. Debbie, I like the message for today. I do too. Awesome to be here together. Swearing is therapeutic. Shoshana, awesome to have you here. Yeah, totally. Exhausted, super exhausted, sick out of nowhere. Yeah, maybe the alarm stage. Well, Shoshana, have you been on with us live before? You may have seen I think this is the first time I've seen you on here, and so I don't think it's any, it's not like some random thing probably that, like, that I'm in this space today and you're in this space. So let's tune into the energy. Yeah. I just see like whoop, like you're getting lifted right out of wherever you're, however you're currently working. This is a mission week, which is probably why you're here too. I just see like a little hot air balloon, like you're just lifting right out of your current circumstances. And so just let that dismantle and surrender into how you're feeling and congratulate yourself that there's things that you were willing to pretend were felt okay that now you're not. And it's just moving out of your system. Christina, it's such a fucking trip when you let things go, things dismantle, and then rebuild in a more divinely aligned way that there's no way we could have seen before the dismantle. And it reminds me of this phrase, for nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor is anything secret that will not be known and come to light. Love that. Yeah, you're welcome, Debbie. How do we just let ourselves step up into the spotlight when we are so scared? Do we just do it, feel the fear and do it anyway? Susan Jeffers. Yeah, I mean, I think like all the work we're doing here is based on doing that, is based on feeling more and more safe. So like EFT, we talked about that a lot in the first week. That can be a good one. And it can look at how has it served us to not step into the spotlight. We can do journaling around where did we learn that it wasn't safe to step into the spotlight. Another good one to ask, and I'm really getting this for you, Gemma, is your grandmother, but anyone who's feeling this way, you can also journal and say like, this is my mindset coach, Molly, has me like do stuff like this around like visibility stuff. What did I learn about visibility? What did I learn about stepping into the spotlight? For some reason, Gemma, I keep seeing like a grandmother here, but like you can ask like, what did I learn from my family, from my aunts, uncles, from my parents, from my grandmothers? Like what did they teach me about coming to the front of the line? Was I taught don't be rude, or your place is in the back, or this is how we are? Like, you could just look into that. Trina, I turned in late. I love forget what you used to know. I am that I am. We can all be bright, brilliant beings. Yeah. Joanna, strengthening, expanding. Love to be in this community you've created. Oh, thank you, Joanna. Oh my God, I just feel every time you're here, I just like almost could cry. I don't know. I just feel such a love for you being here too. We've got to have a sleepover soon. Lewis, Michelle, great. I'm glad that was amazing for you. Debbie says, and I think this is about the process we did a few minutes ago, makes lots of sense. I feel there's an ancestor that gave that to me. Yeah, there def was. Receiving attention has been a problem all my life. Working to make progress on it, and it's happening. Thank you so much. Sending you so much comfort and love. Thank you. So that brings up a good point. And I'm going to go to these other comments after that. But you also want to look at your current job. Like if you are kind of clear on what some of the wounds are in your life. So if you know getting attention has been a problem all your life and you've made a career out of like being behind the scenes, then you have to realize that part of your mission as a soul innovator is going to be that at some point you need to make part of your career being in the front instead of being behind the scenes. And it's something sorry. The cat needed to be visible. She can't be behind the scenes anymore. She needed to let you know she was here. So let me see if I can find a new way of connecting with you guys. So yeah, like I know like people pleasing and making everyone feel better was something that like is a wound or something I was taught. Like that's, I felt like that's where my value came from. And so I have to really be careful of that when I do my work. And I know that part of my work, at some point my mission has to require me to like trigger people or to be on a level of visibility where like there's no way I could make everyone happy or feel good and that sort of thing. So you want to look at what your or apologizing for my power. You want to look at like what's your wound, how have you turned your wound into something that serves you, because there's nothing wrong with like also saying, hey, I know I'm great at making people feel better, or hey, I know I'm great at being behind the scenes. Like it's not wrong to let that work for you and monetize that. But then at some point you have to know like part of your mission is going to be to move beyond that. Shoshana, this is your first time on. So like, yeah, trust that that's what it's about for sure. Angela, Mercury went retrograde today too. Ooh. Hey, Christelle. Trina, this is my breakdown before my breakthrough. It's time to fully surrender in Satyanama. Yeah. Hey, Stephanie. So good to see you here. Hope you've been doing well. Speaking of ancestors, I've been seeing 333 daily since I started this 30-day journey. Yeah, I'm glad you liked the... Yeah, that's also the Ascended Masters. Do other people relate to being willing to be in the spotlight when it's ancestor clearings finally not allowing others to dim my light? I worked as a flight attendant for a while, and it was really one of the best experiences I could have had regarding being out in front and becoming comfortable with attention. Yeah, so exactly. So it may be time to do something else like that. So that was really this is really our message for today, is just allow the dismantlement, allow the breakdown before the breakthrough, and let yourself really surrender and get restful today and really watch what happens next. I'm just going to ask that everything that clears today is now permanently released and cleared from the field for all involved. And I'm also going to ask that everybody who has come in today and has been part of it, hey, Christian, also be permanently here. Everything that is here, all the benefits are now permanently here for everyone. And the benefits will continue to enhance and expand. We know the work continues beyond this time. We're always connected by heart. For now, we'll breathe back into existence, door between worlds. And this video is complete for today. Take good care of yourself. Remember those 3 phases. And you can share with me in the Facebook group what's happening. All right, lots of love. Thank you.